Hi, this is Lewis Riley, the director of KC Clay Guild. I'm here at our new building at 500 West 39th Street in the Westport area of Kansas City, Missouri, and I'm going to give you a tour of the interior of our new building. I'm at what will become the main entrance of the building, and I'm going to just give you a quick walkthrough of the property, show you what each room will end up being, and we have a pretty good idea of where we'll end up on the layout of the property thanks to our volunteer construction committee and our architect, B&IM. So this is the 39th Street entrance to the building. The parking lots are just along down the sidewalk there. This will be the main entrance of the building. Through this wall here, you'll actually enter a person lift, which will take you down to the basement, which I'll show you later. And will also take you up to the main level. So let's go upstairs and check out the main level. This wall will be torn down, and this will actually become the volunteer monitor station. So this is where you would check into the building, get oriented, and sign in. Again, that person lift will actually come up into this room, so that'll be the way to access the entire building. This room will become the community studio. So we'll have a lot going on in here. The main area here in the center of the room will become our dedicated open studio space. So this is where we'll host family fun nights, open studio throughout the week. This space will have about 20 potter's wheels and 4 or 5 large work tables, shelving for storage of in-progress work, sinks, wedging tables, slab roller, all that stuff. So this space will be kind of the busiest part of the building for a lot of the part of the week. Again, the monitor will be set up over here, and this space is about 2,500 square feet that'll be devoted just towards the open studio access. So in the same room as the open studio, this lower ceiling area will be where the retail space is. And so we'll have a small member gallery with artwork for sale, and then a materials and supplies shop. So clay, tools, glazes for sale. That'll all be through a partnership with Bracker's Good Earth Clays in Lawrence. So they'll be providing the inventory that we sell. Any proceeds of that go towards our mission, of course. But this will be really the only ceramic supply shop in Kansas City. So it'll be a really convenient opportunity for KC Clay Guild members, but also the larger community to pick up those last minute items that they just can't wait on. So yeah, we're looking forward to be able to provide that. Moving towards the back of this room, this stage will actually become the rotating gallery space. And so we will have exhibitions in here like the Artist in Residence exit shows, T-Bowl National, and really the hope is that we have monthly shows in this space. It's about 600 square feet. We will have, hanging systems on the walls. Obviously lighting will be improved for that space. So it'll just be a really nice gallery space that'll sort of overlook the open studio space. So we're really looking forward to that tie-in with an area where you're making work and then an area where you're displaying work. This room will have a pretty light touch on renovation. Really what we'll be focused on is painting the walls white, repairing the ceiling, improving lighting, and then under that carpet is concrete. So we'll just be removing all the carpet and adhesive and just having a bare concrete floor. So coming through this set of double doors, this room will eventually be the rental storage room. So this entire room will be devoted to shelves for rent. So we'll have roughly 180 shelves in here. That is a huge increase from what we currently have. So hopefully everyone that's on our wait list, everyone that has a shelf currently, of course, will have the opportunity to rent at a reasonable rate a shelf in here to store their tools, their clay, and their artwork. Public bathrooms through this space. And along the right here, a series of offices which will actually be converted into our conference room and library. It'll also serve as a break room. So these 3 spaces here will be combined into one single space. We'll have a library, Our artist in residence collection will be in there. And then we'll also have a conference room for board meetings and other meetings. Also just be a nice clean space to have lunch or take a break. This is another entrance along 39th Street that won't be used too often. But through this corridor, we have a series of smaller rooms that will be used for administrative offices. Our education coordinator, myself, will have offices back through here. And then coming around the corner, this first room will be opened up and will become our glaze mixing room. So the artist in residence and studio manager will work in there to make our glazes. The next space here, which is currently a kitchen, will become our clay mixing room, but also storage for all the materials that we need for mixing that recycled clay. This entire space will be opened up. These cabinets will go away. The wall there will be demolished. This window right here in the center will actually be opened up into a roll-up door. These walls will be deleted. And this whole space will end up becoming a receiving area where we can bring in full pallets of material through this dock door. So rather than trucking in all the clay on hand carts, we'll bring it in on full pallets. We'll have pallet racking in here to store multiple layers of pallets. And then behind the wall here will end up being our kiln room. So we'll have the blow kiln, some electric kilns, ventilation in here obviously. And this will be sort of like a garage space that's segregated from the rest of the building. Through these double doors off of the kiln room will be the ware room. And so we'll have shelving along these walls. We'll have a partition wall along here to back shelving up to. And so this is sort of an in-between space between the community studio and all of the surrounding space that we'll use for classrooms. So you'll have easy access, drop off your work in here, and then the artist in residence will be able to move it through these double doors and into the kiln room. There are two small rooms at the back here, which will both be combined into becoming a large hand building room. And so we'll have space to accommodate up to 15 or 20 students in a hand building class, along with shelving for those classes and slab roller, extruder, and all those other specialty tools for hand building. So this room will be divided into two wheel throwing spaces. They will be much, much larger than our current spaces. They both have a good number of wheels for large class sizes. We actually may have an option to be able to combine the two spaces into one classroom for special events and field trips. Renovation in this room will include removal of these ceilings, obviously improving lighting. We'll also be tearing up the floors throughout the building, this room included. So we'll just have bare concrete floors here. And to the left here, we'll be adding sinks to this space. So coming back through here, this is in between the classroom areas and then the community studio. These two rooms will be combined into one large glazing room. And this will be more than twice the size of our current glazing room. Should give everyone enough space to get their work done. And it's really nicely positioned, sort of halfway in between the community studio space and the classrooms, and then close to that ware room, which will be right through that door. And then coming out of the glaze room, straight into where we started on this level with the community studio space. Okay, back at the main entrance, and we'll walk down these stairs to the lower level. Okay, so the lower level is primarily going to be studio spaces for rent, and then artist in residence studios. Again, through here, this is where the person lift will come down to get access to this level. These panel walls will actually be removed, opening up this larger space for private studios. This corridor will be used for a large bathroom, and then the two spaces back here will end up being for an office and studio for our studio manager. This will be a private entrance for those who are renting or holding studios on this level. So you'll be able to enter from the 39th Street side of the building, come straight in. So that'll be really convenient for everyone who has a studio down here. Again, these panel walls will be removed. We should have about 4 private studios for rent along this wall, this back wall, the awesome mural. We actually hope to keep the kitchen. Be really useful for future events. This first room down here will be divided into 3 or 4 artist in residence spaces. Obviously we'll be putting an adult-sized shop sink in, improving lighting, again, removing the floors, but really nice access to natural light. So coming past the kitchen, which could end up being held as a kitchen or possibly converted into a kiln room for the downstairs area. We have 2 more classrooms down here, which will be converted into semi-private studio spaces. So cubicle style studio spaces. We also may do studios where there's a central workspace and then shelving across the perimeter of the room. So there's a couple different concepts for how we do private studio or semi-private studio. This is an exit out to the playground area, which obviously will make a great space for our soda kiln and other outdoor kilns. But it's a nice sunken space that'll be really useful for soda firing and other activities like raku. This is the downstairs utility room. All of this old equipment, the boiler, this 1970s air handler will actually be deleted from this space. All the equipment, HVAC equipment in here will be relocated to the roof. So HVAC is one of the big ticket items for this building. We have hundreds of thousands of dollars in HVAC work to do to bring this building up to current standards, get everything working, and make sure it's comfortable for everyone. Once the HVAC stuff is out of this room, this will actually become the likely place for our downstairs kiln room. So we'll have a few electric kilns that are down here for convenience for studio renters and for the artist in residence. A few general notes on the building. So our current building is 4,500 square feet. This building is 18,600, so it's a huge jump up, obviously. Despite this building being so big, it was still pretty complicated to choose where everything would actually go in the property. So we have finally gotten pretty close to where we think everything will be. So I've kind of described each of those spaces. There still may be changes that happen, but we're getting pretty close on identifying the final layout of the property. So this building does require a good amount of work. It's generally in good condition structurally, but it does need a roof. We need almost an entire replacement of the HVAC systems in the building, a lot of plumbing updates, adding sinks, fixing toilets, rearranging bathrooms to meet current ADA standards. Lighting will have to be improved. There are some windows that need to be replaced, flooring that has to be removed. So we do have, about a year of renovation before we'll be able to move into the property. But in the meantime, while we get all this work done, I hope to share the process on YouTube with all of you. So to keep you updated, to keep you engaged on what's going on over here. We're super excited about the potential of this building. We think it's gonna be an awesome asset to our community. We really think it's gonna help this block of 39th Street between Broadway and Southwest Traffic Way. We think it's really gonna be a boost for this block. We hope to see some other businesses popping up along this, this section of 39th Street. And we really look forward to becoming neighbors for the Valentine Neighborhood Association and very close neighbors to Westport. So while we have surpassed our initial $500,000 fundraising goal, we do still have a significant amount of progress to make before all of the renovation and outfitting costs are covered. So we will in the future be starting to reach out to folks regarding supporting our next phase of capital campaign fundraising. So if you have any friends, neighbors, colleagues, family that are interested, engaged in supporting the arts, especially in Kansas City or in the state of Missouri, please have them look into KC Clay Guild. Our website is kcclayguild.org/build, and that page covers all the basic information about our project here at 500 West 39th Street. They can also reach out to me directly. My email address is studio@kcclayguild.org. Thank you.